So I've had a lot of time to think about what went wrong and why this happened, why my 78-year-old mother became a victim of financial elder abuse. And I've racked my brain trying to figure out what I could have done. Were there signs? And I think it's important just to tell you a little bit about my mother, Lucilia Banks. My mom was married to my father approximately 60 years. My mom met my father in church. She was 18 and still in high school when they got married. Now, this was at the height of the Vietnam War. My father believed that he could somehow not be drafted into the war if they got married. And they did. He was in combat, so he's a combat wounded Purple Heart recipient. And my father also became a minister. He comes from a long line of ministers on his side, and so they all both had very strong religious upbringings and background that they brought into the marriage. Once he returned from war, they had my older brother and subsequently 4 more of us. My father was very controlling in that marriage, and my mom was very submissive. All the decisions were made for my mom, and that bothered my mom, but she didn't feel like she had a voice. Growing up, my mom never really seemed to have friends. Her time was occupied with raising us, being a preacher's wife, providing for the family. So she really did not have social relationships with true friends. My mom was very tuned spiritually and really prayed almost, well, I can't say almost because it was every day. I don't remember a day growing up where I did not see my mom either reading her Bible or praying at some point in the day. That was how strong her conviction was. She prayed all the time. Now, after a while, after they retired, my parents would often visit different churches, and they were in search of a new church home. This last church, shortly before or shortly after my father was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and the church is a church that my mom ultimately was last a member of. And that is when, at that church, is where my mom met the evangelist. And that was the beginning of the con.